Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with K Montes Art Studio, and I have another old video that I filmed trying to catch you up on some of my life events. In this video, we will continue to play with our new watercolor. I also create a piece of art, and currently I am filling up and topping off the pans that I filled last week in the last week's video so that things are a little bit more full to the rim, and there were a couple little gaps that I wanted to fill in that I thought could benefit from some more paint. So as I mentioned last week, I've been catching up on YouTube, catching up on trying to get a rhythm back into my art and really diving into getting things done before baby arrives. I have had a couple of old videos that I filmed way back late February, early March, and I never got a chance to edit things because there was a lot of things going on in my home with renovation and moving furniture around, and a lot of the things that I had to do required a lot of energy, and being pregnant, it's very energy draining to say the least. I also didn't have access to my art studio for very much of the time due to it being a landing spot for a lot of the things that we were moving around. So some new things that we did to our house were add closet space to our primary bedroom, which ended up working out really well. We now have a lot more space. If you don't know, I live in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is known for their very tiny row homes or their very enormous row homes. So we have a tiny one, and things are quite tight. And yeah, so we expanded those. And of course, we expanded the art room that is now the nursery, and I'll jump into that in just a bit. But let's jump into some of this art stuff that I have here on the screen. I did break my no-buy year by getting this Paul Rubens opera set. This is a watercolor set that is primarily neon. I also ended up buying some more small tins that I fell in love with because I was at the time under the impression that I was going to use my tiny travel art kit to kind of get into the rhythm of painting without a studio, but it didn't work out too well. However, I am very happy that I was able to get these watercolor sets because I am a big Opera Rose girl. When I first fell in love with Opera Rose, I didn't know how to say it. I don't know why I didn't think to call it opera, but you know, dyslexia always makes you say things weird. So I called it opera for a really long time. And someone in the comments helped me out. Thank you to that person. So once I saw that the Paul Rubens, which I never tried before, I never tried their regular watercolor, I saw that they had this opera collection. I fell in love, and I bought it because it was within means. You know, I was breaking my no-buy, but I also wasn't trying to do large art hauls. So that's been my big goal, is to avoid from doing large art hauls, especially after moving out of my studio and noticing the amount of art items that I have. I think I want to be able to use all the things that I have and experiment with those before continuing to buy new things. It's also an overconsumption of items that end up not being used, and I wasn't liking the feeling too much. By all means, I still love art hauls. I do think that I will buy things as I need them. So if I run out of a certain paint color, obviously I'm going to buy it. So I'm not going to do large art hauls like I used to. I know those videos get a lot of views, but I personally don't want to continue to overconsume in that way, unless if there is a particular reason. For example, like a big art haul of things that I need, or things that I ran out of and I end up, kind of waiting to the very end and buying all of those things at once. So that's my idea. But for the time being, I have to resist. It's really hard once you are in this world of, how do you say, consumption and prizes and rewards. It's kind of hard. So I can't promise anything, but I know what I want to do. However, I don't know how things will turn out. But I know I have a little bit of self-control. So in this color palette, I added all of the neon colors, and I added a couple of the Cotman colors that I didn't use in the previous palette. So that helped out a lot, and I still had 4 wells to fill. So if I end up liking another opera color, I might use that for that, or I might just have it be space for like whites or blacks in a gouache color. Still haven't determined that yet. I also am working on trying to get back into things. So let's talk about what I'm going to be painting. And I was currently looking for an inspiration that was more architectural based, and I wanted to dive into getting an image that was more architectural, I guess I can say. And I really didn't want to kind of be inventive and create another landscape. I also wanted to use something, do something that was more colorful. So I found the perfect image, and I was able to really focus on perspective and more accuracy and having things be more actual than I typically do with my landscapes. So here's the reference photo that I used, and you can see there's a lot of detail, a lot of color, and I fell in love with this photo. I have a couple of different pins, and all of these sort of style of houses are very colorful, and I just wish I could paint my house that color without my neighbors looking at me like I'm a little lunatic. But yeah, that was the inspiration, and it reminded me a lot of sort of Encanto, the movie from Disney, and how things are very bright, fun, and vibrant. I think the Mexican Colombian style home, the sort of Latin flavor that it does have, makes things feel very warm and cozy to me. Some people might think otherwise, but I really loved this photo. So, of course, when I'm trying to do voiceover, there's loud noises in the background. So, apologies in advance for any of the loud noises that you might hear. I believe that there might be construction going on in one of the houses further down from me. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Anywho, let's jump into how things are going with my studio. So when I moved out of my studio, I had a lot of sort of sadness and change in time. Like, this is going to be a new season for me. I'm going to have a baby. Things are going to be different. So this is basically the end of an era. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to let it stop me. I'm definitely excited for what's to come, and I really can't wait to set up my new studio that will live in the basement. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last video, but my new studio is now going to be a shared space with a couple other things. So I'll have my gym downstairs. I will have a laundry room downstairs. And there is also going to be like storage and things like that. So I really have to focus on making the studio space my own. I haven't figured it out yet. I also am in the middle of waiting for things to kind of dehumidify and also defumigate. I don't know what the word would be, but we got our floors done, and the floor is sort of an epoxy resin style floor. And because I'm pregnant, the fumes have caused me to cough a lot. I can't be around it. I have to wait till it completely like disintegrates. So I'm not 100% sure if I'll be able to set things up anytime soon. So far, it's been about 3 weeks since the floor has gotten done. And there's very little smell, but because I'm pregnant, I can smell anything a mile away. And I want to avoid any toxins while I have this little baby inside of me. So, and any toxins without the baby as well, because it's not safe. So, long story short, I'm hoping to get the studio set up sometime in August. Maybe by then the smell will be gone. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. We're at the end of June, so that should be about a month. I'm going to put an air purifier. We already have a dehumidifier down there, and things should be going smoothly. So back to this painting. This painting, I was using the Aquarello paper, I believe. I cannot remember exactly which paper I was using, but I wasn't loving how the paint was sitting on top of some of the surface, and it was really challenging to blend. I never had this problem before. I don't know if it's the paint or if it's the paper, but I definitely use Daniel Smith for the most part with this type of paper before, and maybe I just didn't pay attention to it in the past, but I wasn't necessarily loving the texture that the paper caused. So it's a combination of things. It could be the paint, the paper and the paint. It could be several things, but I ended up working with it again, just considering that this is a little painting that is just meant to practice and kind of keep pushing through. So as you can remember, a lot of this little house was very colorful, and I didn't include a lot of the things. Like, I didn't include the bike. I didn't include every single pot. I also didn't include some of the trees. I'm more so focused on the actual building itself, but you can see that that teal blue worked out really well. I think I made that blue with some of the neon color. I don't remember exactly what colors I used, but I was really loving this color palette and just having fun with vibrant colors. As you remember, the last palette was very muted and so not me. If I had to say that I had a style of color, it would be this. And you can see that in a lot of my paintings, a lot of my works have very high vibrancy and high color contrast. And it just makes me happy. It really does. Just watching this video makes me want to paint. I think I also, if I had to do this over again, I think I would also like to add some color pencil. I do go in, you'll see shortly, I do go in with a marker, a sort of like a pen marker tip, and add some variety. But I think I want to practice some color pencil on top of some of these and really accentuate some of the texture. I love showing texture. And if you really look closely at this photo, there's a lot of texture on the wall, especially where the areas appear to be in shadow, and some of the areas appear to have like dirt on it from like rain and things like that. And just even being more refined with the detail. Yeah, so I'm going to try to do a couple more of these in the next coming weeks. As you all know, I'm slowly weaning into getting back into the rhythm of art and really grasping my time and seeing how things are going to work with my new life that is coming up. I don't want to stop doing videos because those couple months, those 2 to 3 months that I was out of commission, I really was kind of sad. Like, it's something that I love. I do YouTube because it's fun. It's not my job yet. It's more so a hobby that I find very relaxing because I'm able to paint and do artwork. So I do want to be able to bring that back. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Talk to you soon. Bye.